What's up, my Yu-Gi Bros? I'm your host, the one, the only, the RJB0. Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Business Casual. So a few things happened this weekend. I went to regionals. I had a great time. I didn't do so hot. I'll be talking about that tomorrow. The other thing that happened was that I apparently went through some kind of rite of passage as a Yu-Gi-Tuber, in that I got called out on my bullshit by Mega Capital G. The subject at hand was the prediction I made a little while ago that by this last weekend, Burning Abyss would become a Tier 0 deck. But it didn't really happen that way. So today I want to do a video showing the process I went through to come to my prediction and what went wrong along the way that led to the obviously inaccurate conclusion. Burning Abyss did not start off the format strongly. Throughout the format, though, Burning Abyss went on a steady climb through the top tables, and eventually came out to be fairly obviously the best deck. The end result seemed to be ARGCS Chicago, where Burning Abyss took 10 out of the top 16 slots. Having seen this trend, and looking at Burning Abyss and seeing the reasons why it's such a good deck, its ability to run massive amounts of removal on top of an almost perfect floater engine, with boss monsters that could toolbox and do removal of their own, Burning Abyss was making a really strong impression on me. At this point, I made my video about how Burning Abyss could have surpassed the Dragon Rulers of Legend. I still hold to my statement that Burning Abyss would have a strong matchup against Dragon Rulers if they were to duel against each other, but unless I make an actual duel video about that, I can't really prove that to you. The important thing about those videos was the fact that I stated at the very beginning that I believed that Burning Abyss was going to be the Tier 0 deck of the format, based on the results of ARGCS Chicago. I expected this weekend to turn out exactly like that did. This weekend, Burning Abyss did not put out what I was expecting them to do. YCS Milan had an almost perfect three-way tie between the top decks, and Clifford's and Burning Abyss co-dominated ARGCS. The story here actually did not come, in my opinion, from overestimating Burning Abyss. I think that the deck is just as broken as I was talking about before. Don't get me wrong, there is no salt going on here. I'm perfectly a-okay with Burning Abyss. I gotta admit, it's probably a more skillful deck than the Clifford deck that I run. I just think it's an incredibly powerful deck. The real story seems to be that I thought that Cliffords and Shadows were at the highest point of play that they were ever going to get. That until they got better support, Cliffords and Shadows were at the strongest they were going to get. But this weekend, one major thing happened for each deck. Shadows accomplished what they've been struggling to do since their release. They found the best variant in Chaos Shadows. Finding the strongest variant of the deck meant that players could cater more to that playstyle. It also meant that half of Shadow players weren't playing the suboptimal variant, essentially doubling the chances that a given Shadow deck would top. Denko Sekka also played a huge role, in that Shadow players, having found the Chaos variant and sticking to it, started running the triple Denko Sekka, and Denko Sekka has an incredible Burning Abyss matchup, blocking out their mass removal, which is their only real out to the El Shaddolls, and providing a clear path for Construct to mow down the Burning Abyss monsters. For Cliffords, it was a little more simple. What happened was that Clifford players just started playing more Clifford. They started ramping up the number of Clifford monsters in the deck, and increasing even further the number of times in the game that they're going to be able to activate Scout, starting to run things like 3 Apocryphort, 3 Disc, and in some cases, even running multiple shells and a tower. At Chicago, Clifford players were trying to be anti-meta. The players that got to the top 16 were running Clifford decks that really ran counter to the Clifford strategy just so that they could have an anti-Burning Abyss strategy. Having seen that fail utterly, Clifford players decided to just stop trying to be what they're not and play Cliffords as hardcore Clifford as they could, trying to see Scout as much and as many Clifford monsters as they could in one game. They stopped trying to be anti-meta and decided to become the meta, and that's what my video is about tomorrow. So I hope you guys are excited as I am, because this is a brand new piece of theory for me to be talking about, and I think it could be really important for the game. So definitely stay tuned for tomorrow. Meanwhile, I hope you guys like this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you did, let me know why in the comment section below. And of course, subscribe for more decks discussion, analysis, and general Yu-Gi-Oh! Shenanigans. Thank you guys for watching. I'm your host, the one, the only, the RJB0, and I got a jet. See you guys.